How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Take Pride in Our Body, a weekly podcast here inside the Gay Man Fitness Club. I'm happy to have you join us today. We're getting close to the holiday seasons. Holiday season, I mean, it's going to be Thanksgiving soon here in the US. At least we're ready for some celebrations, and then there's Christmas and then New Year's, and they all involve a lot of food and a lot of feasting, a lot of drinking for those of you who drink alcohol. So, how does that get in the way of your fitness? I know most people I talk to tell me that at the end of the year, they experience a lot of weight gain because of all of the eating that they do and all of the disruption in their habits. So, my question to you is, how do you keep fit during the holiday season? That's the topic of our talk today. Feel free to drop in and leave some comments as we're live. Drop in some questions. And I want to jump right into my personal story. Hey, Amal, how's it going? Thank you. So, my personal story with trying to keep fit on the holidays before I actually worked out or had any fitness goals. It was just a free for all. Basically, I love all of the holiday foods. Um, I was born and raised in Brazil, as some of you may know. And so at the time that I was growing up, we would have family reunions, and we had food lying around all day long for hours and hours and hours, even before our dinner. So back in Brazil, we celebrate on the 24th of December. That's when we have our big feast for Christmas, and then we eat again on for lunch on the 25th, which is Christmas lunch, and then the same thing again a week later. Where on the 31st of December we have a big feast on the 31st in the evening, and then on the 1st of January we all meet again to eat like crazy for lunch, and there's food available all day long before dinner and even before lunch. So you're just snacking on nuts, and I had no idea how many calories are in those nuts. Almonds, cashew nuts, walnuts, dates. They're Lebanese people in my family, so we had a lot of dates. Do you know how many calories are in these things? I had no idea until I started looking into nutrition. So I would just eat, and of course drink, drink, drink. Have beer, have wine, have champagne. You raise a toast, and at the end of the day or the evening, everybody was just passed out on the sofa, on the couch, super lethargic, feeling super bloated, and still we're going for desserts. And I don't know if you can relate. Drop a comment there. Can you relate to this? Just say, I can relate. If you've ever eaten so much during the holiday season and these dinners and those lunches where you can't even stand up, you just feel super bloated. Well, I didn't care back then before I worked out. I noticed that I was overeating and it was too much, but hey, that's the holidays. I associated it with the holidays, so it was normal. Now, as I started to work out, I became more aware of the effects that it had on the way that I looked, basically on the way that I felt. So I started to uh, unhealthily have this all or nothing approach where I had to be healthy. As I mentioned last week in the video about cheat meals, you can go back and watch that because there's a lot in common with the cheat meal topic there, where you're not thinking of what you eat, you're not thinking about how much you eat, and you're not thinking of why you're eating either and how it affects you. So, yeah, so when I started to worry about my fitness, I took the all or nothing approach where I was going to be healthy all the time. And so the holiday season was a big challenge for me, where I had all of that food lying around, foods that I loved, and they were super high in calories, especially considering that I used to drink a lot of alcohol back then too, and love desserts. So all of those pies and cakes and ice cream and everything that was on the table, I wanted to have a little bit of everything and have multiple servings before. So going from that all of the food that I could eat to the basically nothing, where I took my own containers of previously prepared meals with the portion sized protein, portion sized veggies, portion sized uh, healthy carbs, and of course everybody laughed at me. It's like, what are you crazy? You bring your own food to Thanksgiving or to Christmas or to New Year's dinner? So that wasn't healthy either because, for one, it was pretty embarrassing really to have to do that, and secondly, I didn't know the idea of balance, right? I mean, if you're consistent all year round with your fitness goals and your eating habits and your exercising and you have the right mindset, then you already know that those dates are coming. They're on the calendar. They happen every year on the same day, so you can prepare ahead. So that's the number one takeaway for you that I learned and I wanted to share with you is all about planning and preparing. How do you plan and prepare for the upcoming holiday season? I know with the pandemic and with coronavirus, social distancing, you probably have fewer gatherings than we did before, but you still may have those dinners and lunches with the family, or maybe just purchase for yourself those typical staple foods of the holiday seasons. How do you plan for that? Do you make your own food? Do you try to maybe cook a healthier version of those staple foods? And there's plenty of there. So if you can do that, let me know in the comment that you're cooking. Let me know what you're cooking and how you're planning, what your plan is. If you're hosting any of those dinners or lunches at home, then remember you have the power to make it a healthier one, even with all of the staples of turkey, which is a super lean protein. So what I would recommend is if you're going to be in any of those events, prioritize protein. Go for the for the protein first. It's going to keep you full longer. It's going to help you with muscle synthesis, a protein synthesis that will help you to build muscle, which in turn will help you to burn more fat. So remember, if you're going to have to choose where to start with a protein. Start with vegetables. There's plenty of vegetables out there. Uh, so stuff it up with protein and veggies and not so much in all the sugary things and all the high carb creamy things and the pies and alcohol if you drink. So if you want to stay healthy, these are my tips for you in terms of prioritizing what to eat. Now, I have a client that told me last year he had made a lot of progress, fat loss. He lost about 50 pounds, and he was really happy with those results. And then at the end of the year, when Thanksgiving came, and then Christmas, and the New Year, and all the dinner celebrations came along, he found it really hard to maintain the discipline that he had had all year round because of all that food available. So basically, the problem for him was eating, knowing how much to eat, not so much what to eat. It's basically he ate a lot. So he wanted to try his aunt's cooking. He wanted to try his grandma's dessert. He wanted to try his sister's cranberry sauce and stuffing. So his plate was like a mountain full of stuff. And then he would go for seconds and then have dessert and then take some home, right? The leftovers were like, yeah, take this pie home. And then, he would wake up in the middle of the night to finish up the pie. I've done that before. Let me know if you haven't done it before. So the second point there is not only what to eat, but also how much to eat. I mean, you probably are familiar with the hand portion sizes that you can use to make sure that you have a balanced plate. So that can come in handy, sorry for the bad pun there, during those celebrations. Remember to have one palmful, or at least one, or even two palmfuls of a serving of protein. So this could be your turkey or whatever protein is being served. If it's leaner protein, even better. So try to prioritize that. As I just said, get one or two fistfuls of veggies. I'm sure there are going to be some vegetables at your dinner or at your lunch for all the holiday season. So if you get two fists, or maybe just one fist, depending on how hungry you are and how big you are, and how big you want to get. Um, uh, So make those the priorities. That's going to keep you pretty full. If you're still hungry, you want to go back for seconds, then go for it. Try to limit your carb portions, sweet potato, or whatever potato you're eating, or pasta, or stuffing, cranberry sauce. Um, Try to limit it to a cupped hand. If you want to get bigger, you need like two cupped hands. If you want to lose weight, maybe a cupped hand of those carbs. Fruit also is also included in here, so try to limit it to a cupped hand and a thumb-sized portion of some healthy fats. It could be those nuts, or it could just be the olive oil that you put on your salad. So try to practice portion control. Try to use smaller plates if you can, so that way you will be eating a little bit less, and just slow down. Eat slowly and mindfully. Think about what you're eating. Savor every bite. Eat slowly. Chew the food. Savor it. Enjoy it because it's a special occasion. So there's no rush. You don't want to wolf it all down super fast. It doesn't even give time for your brain to get the signals from your digestive system that you're full. So slow down. Talk to the people that are with you. Remember, the holiday season is all about being with your family, with your loved ones, with your friends, whoever you're spending it with. And if you're spending it alone now because of a quarantine or lockdown in some places, the same thing still applies. Slow down, put down your fork and your knife in between each bite, savor it, have a sip of water, enjoy the food. Don't rush through it. So remember, it's not only what you eat, but also how much you eat. Probably even the most important thing is how much you're eating. And if you're still with me, drop a comment with me, and drop a comment below and just write the words how much if you think that's your biggest problem. Portion control, knowing how much to eat, and if you found the hand portion useful. And I just wanted to leave you with another thought too, which is why. Think of why you're eating. I work with a lot of people that are emotional eaters, and during the holidays, it seems to get even a little bit more intense with, some people get the holiday blues, the winter blues, especially here in North America where it gets cold. People are indoors a lot. So we are going through a lot of different feelings right now. Maybe stress, anxiety, loneliness, boredom, you name it. So instead of eating away your feelings, how about slowing down there too, and recognizing those feelings first? Identifying what is it that you're feeling. Is it really hunger? Are you eating because you're physically hungry? Can you actually feel any hunger cues? Is your stomach, does it feel like it is empty and kind of growling? How many hours has it been since you last ate? Are you experiencing any strong emotions? Are you just maybe thirsty? Have you been drinking enough water? Why don't you try drinking a glass of water and seeing if that's what it is? Get some movement in. Try to walk around, take a walk around the block if it's not freezing where you live, or just try to move about the house before you eat to make sure that you really are hungry. And if you are, go for it. And then keep in mind how much you're eating and what you're eating. Once you've determined that the reason why you're eating is because you're physically hungry and not trying to cope with any other emotions. Because remember, all of our behaviors are just our way of responding to a problem that we're having. We're just coping with problems all the time, and that's where food comes in. And at the holiday season, when food is everywhere, it is very easy to cope with all of the problems that we're going through by overeating. And what happens when you don't change that? So what will happen if you just give in to all of the food that's out there and just start eating like crazy, and you think, yeah, that's just one day. Maybe you're rewarding yourself because you've been, eating pretty much healthier foods all year round, and you feel you can give yourself that one day, then that's great. But if you look back and you're not happy with the way that you look right now, and you want to make some changes right now, then overeating and binge eating right now is not going to get you closer to your goals. So that mindset, again, remember, what, why are you eating again? How is that going to get you closer to your goal? I mean, remember, if you're in this group right here, the Gay Men Fitness Club, it's because you're interested in fitness, right? And we're here not just to read about fitness or to talk about fitness. We're here because we want to live that lifestyle. So, how can you align your lifestyle, the fitness lifestyle that you enjoy, and that's why you joined this group, with your actions and your behaviors? So, once you start thinking about that, and that was a big mind shift for a lot of my clients too lately, where when we're exploring their values, what is important to them, how important is it for you to be fit? Can you ask yourself that right now? Just drop a number in the comment on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being not important at all, and 10 being super important. How important is it for you to be fit? And as somebody put in the group, to be fit or to look fit, it doesn't matter to me, but how important is it? Just drop a number from 0 to 10 there, and then do your actions and your behaviors, especially your food choices, do they reflect that importance that you're placing it? Um, so stay aligned with your goals, stay aligned with what you want to do and what you want to achieve, so that you later don't have to experience, those feelings of guilt, just that physical discomfort of overeating and feeling like you again failed at self-control, failed at keeping up with your motivation. And then remember those New Year resolutions, like, yeah, January 1st I'm going to start. What is so magical about the beginning of next year? Why don't you start right now, even before the holiday season begins and before you start to pile up more weight? So that's some food for thought right there for you. I'm really, really bad with the puns today. I swear to God, I will stop with the puns. Um, well, lastly, as you know, I love exercise. I'm a personal trainer because that's my passion. As much as I love nutrition, training is definitely my favorite thing to do. So, how is it going to be different over the holiday seasons? How can you stay fit over the holidays? I think it's a no brainer that you should not stop training or do anything differently at the end of the year in terms of giving yourself a break or giving, unless it was a planned vacation already. But if anything, at the end of the year, be smart about your training. If you know you're gonna indulge in a feast and you're gonna overeat, then just be smart about how you use your training in your advantage or to your advantage to offset a little bit of the excess food that you might be eating. I am currently working with somebody who used to believe that by doing tons of cardio, he would be burning lots of fat. He thought, well, hey, I'm sweating a lot, so I'm losing weight. Look at how much I sweat. And I think it was kind of a revelation when he learned that it was just water, basically, that he was putting out. It wasn't any fat. So the moment you drink water again, you just put the weight back on again, that water weight that you lost. So, as I always say here in the channel, cardio will not outdo bad eating habits. So, if you want to do a little bit extra cardio to burn a few more calories, that's a great idea. Just be mindful of how many calories it is that you're actually putting in and how much time and effort you'll need to make or take to actually burn that number of calories. Do you have any idea how many calories is one of those dinners? I mean, if you're eating close to 1,000 calories or 600 calories or even more, 2,000 calories if you have a dessert, how long will it take you to burn those same calories and be exactly where you were before? And remember, while you're doing cardio, you're probably also burning some muscle in the process. So your body fat percentage is probably going to stay the same too when you're burning muscle. So be smart, do weight training before you have those feasts so that your body can use all of that food, those carb-rich foods, those fats, and those proteins that you're going to be eating for sure with a turkey. Make sure that your body's using that for fuel to replenish all the energy that you spent while strength training, because your muscles will need all of those nutrients to repair themselves after the micro tears that you've placed on them with resistance training. So don't go all about cardio during the holiday seasons. just as I would not recommend that you be doing all year round anyway, since most of you guys here in the club have told me that you want to have more muscle and you want to have less fat. You just don't want to have less fat and also less muscle. So the more muscle you get, the better your metabolism is going to work. So remember, use strength training before those eating episodes to make sure that you're taking those calories in as fuel for your body and not just excess energy that you're going to store as fat. If you find this helpful so far, drop me a comment over here. I see here Carlos Perez saying that, you just go extra minutes of jogging, which is great. I mean, if you want to do a little more cardio, it's going to be great for your heart, great cardiovascular, aerobic exercise. But how many calories do you actually burn with extra minutes of jogging? Have you ever noticed how many calories you burn while you're jogging? And then can you actually compare to how many calories some of the foods that we eat have? I think it might be a lot of extra minutes of jogging. And just like I said, now when you're jogging, you will also not be sparing any lean tissue, any muscle. So you'll also be losing some muscle mass while you're doing that and adding some more stress to your body, which will slow down the muscle building. So why not doing weight training before you go to any of those dinners or lunches instead of just thinking of doing extra minutes of jogging? That's my question to you. I mean, unless you really, really like jogging, that's great. Maybe you could do both, right? Do weight training, eat what you want to eat, thinking of what you're eating, thinking of how much you're eating, and thinking of why you're eating. And then, if you want to do some cardio later for your heart, that's great, and burn a few extra calories as well. I also look at Jose Carlos comment that it's easier when there's no moms cooking around. That's for sure. I definitely agree with you on that, especially my mom. She just cooks like crazy, overcooks, and then we have to eat everything because we have to finish. The food can't go to waste, and then you go home with food, all of the desserts, everything that you're trying to stay away from, then you're forced to take them home. So what do you do when that happens? Now, question to you: what do you do when you then go back home with the leftovers of all of the pecan pie, the apple pie, the pumpkin pie, and you take the stuffing home, and you take all of the creamy things with the gravy, cranberry sauce with a lot of sugar in it, and then you take it home. You go, hey, I'm gonna have to finish it, right? What do you do with it? I'm curious. Do you end up eating it all in one or two sittings and overeat, forgetting the serving sizes again? Or do you throw it out and say, oh my God, I don't want to see it again, out of sight, out of mind, I'm going to throw it away? Or option C, do you actually portion it out into small containers that are following the hand measuring system so that you have all of the different nutrients in each of those containers, put them away in the freezer so that later on during the year, during the following weeks, when you're in a bind and you don't have any food and you're hungry, instead of reaching out for some comfort food or ordering something that is maybe not so healthy, maybe you can take those out of the freezer and eat them. There's gonna be some good protein there with the turkey. Hopefully you're gonna have some healthy carbs in there. You can even maybe cook some healthier side options to go with that protein that you bring home. As for the pie, my advice, knowing myself, instead of keeping it in the fridge, since I'm not gonna freeze it, and then waking up in the middle of the night to finish that, I would just try to pass it on, give it to somebody who loves sweets and who maybe is not that worried about their fitness right now. Maybe they're not ready to change. Maybe they don't care about the way they look right now, and no matter what you tell them, they're really not gonna change. So why not give it to them since they're gonna go eat it anyways? Well, I think that we have already covered a lot today. We talked about the nutrition aspect of holidays. We talked about exercise, and I want to leave you with a mindset, which again is the most important thing. Why are you doing this? Is this your identity? Is this who you are? Do you actually want this for your life? Or is this like a short-term thing? You want to look good because of a very superficial reason. What is your main reason why you're doing this? Just think back on that, right? Is one dinner or two dinners or three dinners worth letting all of that go and maybe regaining the weight that you've worked so hard to lose, or maybe putting in a lot of things in your body that are not really going to help you get your goals, even if it's not fat loss, if you're trying to build muscle. Are you going to really build muscle from some of the types of foods that people eat? They're just super fattening and sugary. They were not really going to turn into muscle. So be smart about your food choices. Remember why you're doing this. Don't self-sabotage yourself. You're in this club because you want to be a better version of yourself. You want to look sexy. You want to look hot. You want to feel hot. So do the things that are going to make you feel that way and look that way. Be smart. Hope to see you next week again in the Take Pride in Our Body. And drop the comments later if you found that this was useful. What is the one thing that you are going to apply after watching this video? Are you going to apply the nutrition tips that we talked about with what to eat, how much to eat, and why you're eating? Right nutrition down below so that I know you heard it. If you're planning on applying my tip on how to use exercise and weight training to help you to stay in shape through the holiday seasons, just write the word exercise down there so that I know that's what you're going to be doing. And if the mindset part is what really got to you, no more self-sabotaging, no more doing things that are going to get you farther from your goal and make you feel super guilty afterwards, feeling like a failure, then write the word mindset there. I hope that you enjoyed this podcast. Enjoy the holiday seasons. I'll talk to you in the group. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.